Hello everyone, welcome back to Mukbaja. Today I want to talk about social change and make a connection between social change and my personal perspectives on using people's movements and social activism to bring about this change. In this day and age, I don't think there is any right thinking person who would disagree that our society needs change on a very basic and fundamental level. The more important question, though, is how do we bring about this change? How do we get from here to there? Over the last couple of years, Nagaland has seen a succession of social movements, people's movements have come and gone. But what have they achieved for a society? Can we really say that they have made a lasting impression on us and they've achieved anything positive? Very few have. But in most cases, we have witnessed that ultimately they degenerated into power struggle. They degenerated into an ego war. And the main question, the main issue that was at stake was pushed away to the side. And what became more important was who gets to call the shots? Who is the leader? As a result, me being one, many of us have become disillusioned and cynical with this whole so called people's movement and social activism in a society. My personal issues with social activism are twofold. Number one, I feel that the whole character of a people's movement is based too much on emotions. Instead of reason, we apply our emotions. And that is a very dangerous recipe because there are people who will not hesitate to hijack issues for their own personal ambitions. There are people who have no problem sacrificing people for their own ends. After everything has been said and done, a result of the protests earlier this year was the death of two innocent lives. Now, several months later, the world has moved on, but the families are still feeling their absence. The families are still feeling the vacuum that they have left behind. And was it really necessary for their lives to be lost? For what greater good? What did it achieve anyway? There are certain uncomfortable questions that we will have to answer. I think most of us are aware that we were used one way or the other. No matter which side we were on, we've been used one way or the other. This is why I have a huge issue with social activism as it stands today. The second reason is that social activism and the people's movement, it gives us, a lot of us, a sort of escape to practice self-righteousness in one area of our life while being completely disregarding the same ideals and the same principles in other areas of our lives. A person could be standing up for gender equality, and the very same person could be employing children as young as 7 or 8 in his or her home as household helps. The hypocrisy in this is extremely loud. As kids, we were taught in our moral science subjects that holistic development of a child is important. What is holistic development? Holistic development, as I understand it, is where a person acts based on morals and principles instead of being motivated by personal gains, personal ambitions, and short term goals. The fact of the matter is, in our society today, and this is not just a problem with the Naga society, it's a problem of this whole postmodern world, that self interest is above all interests. if we really want social change, we're going to have to dial things back. We are going to have to place the greater good above our own good, above our own personal interests. Back in 2015 or 16, a couple of friends we got together and we called ourselves the Clean Initiative. Our primary concern was with the waste management situation in Dimapur, and we wanted to do something about it. Over the course of time, we gained some very valuable lessons. Initially, we thought that if we just got in and we pressurized the DMC to shift the dumping site from Burma camp to a designated landfill, designated dumping site, things would automatically become green overnight. We thought that if we put pressure on the government to perform better, things would get better. Over time, we realized that the most important component of waste management is the duty of every individual in our society to take ownership of his and her personal actions, his and her personal space. It is easy enough to complain about things when someone else is to be blamed. But to effect change on an individual level, that is where the challenge is. And unless we can do this, unless we can start from ourselves, no change will last because ultimately it all comes back to us. Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, a man I greatly admire, said in one of his books that if you want to change the world, start by cleaning your rooms. This is a very humorous take on the issue, but it is so very close to the heart of the matter. We as individuals are going to have to make a conscious effort to start with ourselves. Because as long as we are focused on the outside, on the larger aspect, we will never get to working on our own deficiencies and our own mistakes. And believe me, change that begins from the grassroots, from the bottom, is change that will last. Because just like a building, if a building is top heavy and the foundations are weak, eventually it's going to come down. But if a building is built on solid foundation, it's going to last for a very, very long time. So my encouragement today is let us get back to the basics. Each one of us wants social change, but how many of us are willing to take responsibility for our own actions, to own up for our own failures and to address them, to correct them? Let us do this. And I believe that what starts out as a small wave will one day become a giant tsunami. Maybe not even our lifetimes. But that is the beauty of it. If we can devote ourselves to an ambition, to a goal that stretches into decades and into a century, I think we're really onto something there. And one day, maybe even in a lifetime, we will see a Nagaland that walks step in step with the rest of the world. And that is a thing that I dream of. Thank you so much.